So it goes to the reports because the United States is the largest country and the largest economy in human history, because electronic communications are now omnipresent, US has gotten really good at this. There was a program that the Europeans had a few years ago, they called it Echelon, where basically the United States used its signals intelligence dragnet to cover all global communications. And while it was never as far-reaching as the Europeans thought, it was still pretty cool, because all you need is a radio tower to collect the information. And if you throw in global cell towers and global satellites, that is a lot of collection potential. Now, do we do it alone? The answer to that is a hard no. We cooperate with any number of allies, but there are four that are far more important than the others put together: the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. And collectively, these form what are called the Five Eyes. They cooperate on the gathering of intelligence, analysis of what comes in, and then they share the findings among themselves. And that makes these four countries the tightest allies we have. Yes, we fight. That's what family does. But it does mean that the United States has a grip, a really good grip on signals intelligence the world over. Now, there have been some issues that have come and gone through the years that have made this more or less effective. The general obsession with encryption that started a few years ago certainly has made it more problematic. But AI and processing power has almost kept track with that. So the United States is able to, once it identifies a person of interest, apply a lot of supercomputer time in order to crack whatever the encryption happens to be. That means that the dragnet covering all of humanity, focused signals intelligence, is wildly effective, and it remains the United States #1 source of intelligence information. That doesn't mean we don't do doesn't mean that human intelligence is not important to the United States. It's critical, especially for any ongoing military operation.
Good evening.
When it comes to locating.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob. I'm at this amazing Italian restaurant. I'm having a breakfast pizza, and was chicken was quite yummy. Right? And all this together is about $20. Can't beat it. Girls over there are having a good time. Yep.
Yeah, I know. Well, we told you that too. We told you that. We were like, you need to stop talking about this. Let's focus on this. You're like, but then you better. Yeah, I'm there. Fair. Okay, you're better. Yeah, it was just really, I think for me too, I had like a lot of personal feelings mixed in because I knew what they were going through and I knew how much this really affected. I think for me, I was having like flashbacks when I went down and like how that was our national championship and I went down. Like we got this next in the middle of the country and she goes down, you know.
Democracy
so
Now.
I'm like, oh my gosh. But the thing about it, we had so many other pieces.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Fighting in Sudan's capital Khartoum has intensified as the Sudanese army battles the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group for strategic locations. The UN's top humanitarian official, Martin Griffiths, arrived in Port Sudan this week, where he called on combatants to allow the distribution of critically needed relief shipments to millions of civilians trapped by the fighting.
We need access, we need airlift, we need supplies that don't get looted. World Food Program today, James, informed me 6 trucks of theirs, which were going to Darfur, were looted en route despite assurances of safety and security. So it's a volatile environment.
The UN says the violence has forced 100,000 civilians to flee their homes with critical shortages of food, water, medicine, and electricity. In Washington, D.C., President Biden signed an executive order Thursday authorizing sanctions against Sudanese leaders. The order came as the U.S. Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, told the Senate panel Sudan's conflict is likely to be protracted as both sides believe they can win militarily and have few incentives to come to the negotiating table. In Ukraine, the head of the Wagner Group says he'll pull his Russian mercenary forces out of the besieged city of Bakhmut by May 10th after he blasted Russia's military for failing to provide enough ammunition. Yevgeny Prigozhin said in a statement Wagner's remaining troops will withdraw to logistics camps to, quote, lick our wounds. Meanwhile, the Kremlin has accused the United States of planning what it said was a drone attack on Wednesday aimed at the official residence of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The White House dismissed the allegations as ludicrous. A jury in Washington, D.C. has convicted 4 members of the far-right group Proud Boys of seditious conspiracy and other felonies for their role in the January 6th Capitol insurrection and for attempting to keep Donald Trump in power after the 2020 election he lost. The Proud Boys verdict is seen as a major victory for the Justice Department. During 2 previous trials, 6 members of another far-right group, the Oath Keepers, were also convicted of sedition. We'll have more on the Proud Boys after headlines. ProPublica reports billionaire Republican donor Harlan Crow paid 2 years of private school tuition for the grandnephew of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, who failed to report the payments on his annual financial disclosures. Tuition at the Hidden Lake Academy in Georgia cost over $6,000 a month. ProPublica previously reported Crow also paid money to Thomas and his relatives.
So, isn't that interesting? First, what's going on in Africa, in that country, is just another forever war. And that neck of the woods is strategic. It has gold and it has oil. And the 2 generals, the one who's in charge of the army and the other one, Rapid Force, are buddies. And they don't want their country to be a democratic government, which is where it was going towards. They overthrew a despotic oligarch that had been in power for 30 years, and the deep state of that country were the military. That's who kept that guy in. But the whole country of, they're the 3rd most populated country, Sudan, and they all said no. And they all stopped working. They all sat on the floor, and they, they'll have to kill us all. Well, that's what the army's doing now. So 2 generals who are partners, buddies, and the Russians are in there big time, with the, that force, the rental army, who's now pulling out of Butsat because he's not getting enough ammunition. He's fighting with guys he just pulled out of jail, right? So that's why he's not winning. And they don't have enough weapons. And, but in Sudan, what's very interesting, they're having a big war, and so the army has jet planes that can shoot missiles and bombs at the ground, and we gave them, and the French gave them, and because they're rich, because they got a lot of oil and gold, and they got a lot of water, and they have a lot of strategic location. What about, Russia has a finger in there. China has a finger in there. We do, the United States, England, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Germany, China, you name it, Japan. Because it's logistically, it's right there. Where Asia meets Europe, Red Sea, India. Everyone's got a finger in there and wants a slice of the pie. And that's what this war is about, killing all the civilians. So the only thing that's left is location, water, oil, and gold. And so we won't do anything to stop it. We could, tell the oil companies not to buy any oil like we did with Russia, right? Would we do it there? No. And why is inflation so high when oil is at its lowest? It's $64. It's still, at $64 a barrel. Oil should be about $2.19. And the morons in the Congress are going to push the United States economy all over the cliff. But they want that so they can force, the, if you want to cool down the thing, you don't raise interest rates. What you do, if we back in 1972, when we rejiggered the economy, when we took it off the gold standard and we put the dollar as the oil standard, Mr. What's his name? Rockefeller, Rothschild, and the guy who speaks with a German accent, who was, Nixon's Kissinger, right? These are all globalists, and they've been globalists since basically Woodrow Wilson, right? Since Teapot Moment. Since the first president, George Washington, was sworn in on the steps of the New York Stock Exchange. That's it. It said it right there. There's a statue of George on the steps all the way up until the 90s when they stuck the golden bull on. There's one person watching. I guess it's AI. AI, tell your fearless leaders they need to hire me. Right? But you guys here don't need to be woke. You need to be awake to what's going on. So.
The biggest event of the summer arrives.
And you're just telling me now?
Be the first to experience the best Marvel movies since Avengers Endgame.
That is the gist of it.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, rated PG-13 in theaters everywhere.
We're playing that game right now.
In the summer of 1950, at the Los Alamos National Laboratory, famed quantum physicist Enrico Fermi was one day chatting with colleagues about a cartoon published in the New Yorker that depicted aliens gleefully emerging from a flying saucer. Accounts from his three colleagues at the time, Konopinski, Teller, and York, slightly differ in the exact wording, but all agree that Fermi asked a question that would become immortalized and went along the lines of, "Where is everybody?" It was this question that gave birth to what is commonly referred to as the Fermi paradox. Despite 7 decades past, it remains one of the most hotly debated topics in science, and in the era of looming AI, it has never been more pertinent. Some say it's not a paradox, or that it's not Fermi's. Others say that it's been dissolved already. There's a lot of dissenting voices, and it can be confusing to keep track of what exactly we're even talking about. So today, let's work through the nuances of the Fermi paradox. Let's go through its history, why there's actually 2 versions of it, the role of AI, and at the end of the day, what does it all mean for our search for life elsewhere in the universe? So let's start with understanding what the Fermi paradox is actually about. If we come back to its origins, Fermi simply asked, "Where is everybody?" When stated in isolation and in a modern context, I think it's easy to misinterpret Fermi's original question as regarding what is often called the eerie silence. The fact that after decades of searching, we haven't detected any extrasolar artificial radio transmissions. Now, I think when people hear the phrase Fermi paradox, this is actually what they often have.
Yeah, we do on normally a Friday night or a Saturday night, especially when it's pretty outside. We'll set them up out the patio. That'll attract some people in because they see it. That's
But if they had a ravey thing going on there every Friday and Saturday, there's music would go all over down there.
People that live above us wouldn't like that.
Screw that. What you do with them is you advertise that it's above a restaurant, and you get a pizza and a beer.
I think that'd be fair. I would like a pizza and a beer.
Fine.
I wouldn't mind.
You can take it upstairs or eat it here and have fun with the people.
For sure.
But if you're some guy, get off my lawn. You're that guy. You should not be upstairs.
Honestly, or living in the downtown area, it's
No.
gonna be busy and noisy.
In a college town.
Yeah. Some people are silly.
Silly is the word. Silly is the word.
A nice way to put it. Silly.
And how do we spell your first name again?
Alyssa.
A.
ALYSSA.
Yep. I'm thinking E.
No, with the A.
Al. I can call you Al.
Yeah, might as well.
Do people call you Al?
They
No.
do sometimes
Oh,
too.
they do.
Especially I had a high school teacher, she would always call me out.
Good. I'll call you Al because that's who I am.
Ash.
Did I give you my business card?
You did give it to me last
Did
time.
you take a look at my YouTube?
I hadn't yet. I'm trying to stay off this.
Well, go subscribe. I need subscribers.
Yeah, I got you. We'll check it out for sure.
I'm sure your dog will.
Oh, that's fair.
And the bartender today is Michael or Jim?
That is James.
James.
Yep.
I gave him some food. They look so much alike. Okay.
After all, that has been our primary scientific effort to detect alien life over the past 5 or 6 decades, and indeed there's been no Jodie Foster moment of a slam dunk detection. But of course, in 1950, there had been hardly any serious radio searches yet either, because remember, this is 10 years prior to Frank Drake's famous Project Osmo experiment, which really dawned the modern radio search era. When we put Fermi's quote back into its context of that New York cartoon, it becomes clear that Fermi's question was concerning visitation. Despite this, discussions of his eponymous paradox often miss this nuance, and the term has sort of evolved into a catch-all phrase for any and all null evidence for aliens. Now, at this point, this distinction might seem a little trivial, almost academic, but as we'll see, it has some important ramifications down the road. Another contentious point is the name itself. The phrase Fermi paradox first appeared in print in 1977 in an article by physicist David Stevenson, and evidently it was pretty catchy. It's now one of the most frequently Googled topics in all of science. Of course, Fermi was almost certainly not the first person to wonder this question. For example, Soviet rocket scientist Tsiolkovsky published similar thoughts in 1933. Yet more, over the years, many have argued about whether it should really be called a paradox at all. Maybe it's best to call it a problem or simply a question, 3 terms which are of course not mutually exclusive. Paradox here means logical contradiction, but as many have pointed out, the contradiction only exists if one accepts certain assumptions. So, for example, in Fermi's original framing of the problem, the assumption that falls into contradiction is that which was depicted in the New Yorker magazine, i.e. visiting aliens. If one rejects that assumption, though, as indeed Fermi concluded was most likely, then there is no contradiction. Aliens don't visit us because they lack the ability or the will to do so. So, does this mean then that it's a misnomer to call this a paradox? You know, honestly, part of me doesn't really care about this that much. I mean, this is semantics at this point. It's kind of similar to how I feel about the classification of Pluto. But I know that many do care, so perhaps it is best to think of this as a conditional paradox, a logical...
What it is a distraction. Oh, look over there. I mean, they're here. We are them. I've been here forever. Right? We read the Bible. We are them. Because they're constantly talking about the God coming down and being with, the earthling women. So there used to be a thing, I don't know, it is on Cartoon Network called Late Night Swim cartoons that were like up the hook. And there was this one about, you know, alien shows up, grabs a monkey, a gorilla, turns it into a human. And there's a cheeky monkey that's running around making fun of both the new human and the alien. The alien's trying to teach him to do stuff, you know, grow food, blah, blah, blah. Not so much. Kind of like Adam. So, and see, the thing is, people believe things that they have no faith. There's no faith in things. Right? Just believe in things. That's not how it works. If you don't have it in your heart, it's not happening, right? If you're just reading the book, if you're quoting the scriptures, you know, that's you're being, you know, the Bible. They had the rabbis and they had the businessmen and they had the priests, right? In the Jewish and the Hebrew thing, right? You know, and you know that's what Mary Magdalene was. She was a priestess of the temple, you know, but she's a whore. You know? It's not what it is. You know, ladies, you are inspirational. No, they don't even. Not even a good. They're so right in where they are, which is okay because they're buddies and they're right where they are. Right, so it's what it is. It's all right. So, you have to realize that there are no nation states. We live in a neo-fascist, transnational oligarchy. That's why there are all these wars, all these famines, all these pestilence. Man, there's going to be another pestilence coming down the line within the next 2 or 3 years. I don't, you know, SARS 1. I mean, COVID was SARS 2, right? And so it spread very easily, but it wasn't very lethal. SARS 1, you were dead, right? So the next one we're going to have is SARS 3, which will be SARS 1 and SARS 2 together. Bingo. We're going to see the population drop to 4 billion people by 2050. And the supply chain will be, there won't be one. There'll be little circles of abundance, mostly really rich people, and they won't even be the morons who, were billionaires that had their little silo underground. No, that's not going to be it. It's going to be something a little different. I forgot the name of the movie, but it was with the guy who was in Good Will Hunting, where he's just a worker and he totally gets whacked. And the person in charge of HR isn't just a fat person, fat person of color, of gender. It's a robot that it's reading all of you. Oh, you're nervous. You're upset. You're angry. Call the killing robot. So that's what happens. So. That's what's shaking. Go 5G, yeah, baby. Get your brain totally whacked. Break free with T-Mobile's T-Line. Yeah, break free. What are you getting free on? Right? Nobody there. What's for dessert?
We have a tiramisu, we have turtle cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, regular cheesecake. We have some cannolis, cannolis,
Oh.
and then I have Italian cream cake and a carrot cake.
What's your favorite?
I like the tiramisu.
I'm gonna go for that.
Tiramisu?
And can I have a box? I'm going full Monty here. Luxurious lunch. Pretty good coffee. They'll just sneezed in everyone's face. Magic. Magic. Okay. Let's see. Oh, thank you, dear. And the bag too, so it doesn't go all over my car. You know it's good when you like to play. James, what's shaking?
You're shaking.
So does that watch tell you your menstrual cycle?
Nah, if I wanted it to, it would.
How late you working?
I'm sorry?
How late are you working?
Tonight all day.
Oh, to 9 o'clock?
Yes, sir, hopefully.
Ah.
Most likely I'm gonna be here. Most likely here till close.
So,
My usual Fridays.
so is a Friday a busy day?
Fridays can be busy, yeah. Tomorrow we're booked all day.
Cool. Is it, for catering, or just everyone's got the reservations?
Tomorrow's it's just we're gonna be booked in the restaurant for E.T. Street graduation.
Oh yeah, I got that. Yeah, they should be booked.
Sunday, if you want to come out Sunday, I'll get your name.
Nah. I like coming when it's busy, but not. I don't come when things of that are going on. Yeah. Thank you, Princess. And if you could warm that up for me, my thermos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And there's that bag for you. Just right here.
So, James, what's your favorite dessert?
Mine?
Yep.
The spicy shrimp and chicken.
What's your favorite dessert?
Their dessert, the tiramisu, actually.
Okay, that's what I'm having.
That's a good one.
You guys make this here?
Yes, sir. Not any Italian group cake.
Anyway. This is good tiramisu. They give you one. I've already eaten a half of it, and there's still a lot left. Yum, yum, yum. Want a minute.
Her mom her mom did everything for her. Her mom is like baby, they're just kind of weird. And her mom her mom is just clear of a lot of things. How it works.
Now I understand.
You know? And like
Oh, boy, that was a good lunch. Still eating. That tiramisu is a gigantic piece.
Trying to make that adjustment where she thinks like her friends are all she kind of needed her so going out understanding like her keep it she didn't get that. You know, she didn't play high school.
Yeah.
Stop that. She didn't have a good relationship with that. You know, and then she is here and then when she tries to go I think with and break room and talk to her like, hey, I want to do you guys, I want to pray you guys and just ask to change. But I also told her like when you tell people no so many times, it was right at it. You know, this is kind of tough asking. That's what they told us. Like they were like, yeah, and she was like, I didn't know that I was still trying to learn. I didn't know what
Do.
They know what the truth was.
Oh, do. Oh, let's see what else is happening. Why haven't aliens arrived? I think they're just watching a TV show. That's all we are.
Contradiction that is conditioned upon a certain set of assumptions. And clearly that still has utility because it allows us to apply pressure to said assumptions. So for the rest of the video, whenever you hear me say paradox, think conditional paradox. Okay, with that in mind then, what are the conditional assumptions that are underlying the Fermi paradox that we might be able to apply pressure to then? Fermi's original version, of course, was visitation, but even here, it's unclear exactly what he defined that to encompass. Does it include alien satellites, lurkers designed to observe us from afar, artifacts on Europa, or
That's for you. And I'd like you to give 5 to Michael, 5 to
Alfredo. Yeah, I got you.
absorb, like, yeah, she was done. So it was nothing after that I understood, but it was okay. I understood what she was coming from because I was very smart. I was not really and now with the experience of what Jordan's life and here, it's really different. I know she and she was like, this I have no idea what I'm saying to her. And I said I was leaving. She felt betrayed that I did not have that. So she was just like, after that, so I just have to talk to her. And I feel like and I'll call her. I yell at her about 17 times. I would put someone I would stop.
It's designed to observe us from afar, artifacts on Europa, or is it just limited to the New Yorker scenario of aliens literally landing their ship in broad daylight in Manhattan and stealing our garbage cans, which incidentally was a real problem in the 1950s? If it is just the latter, then the conditional assumptions that fall into tension here are of limited utility. Excluding alien spaceship landings represents a rather contrived and narrow corridor of all possible alien behaviors and activities. It hardly applies much pressure to aliens as a general hypothesis. In contrast, if Fermi imagined it to extend to lurkers and artifacts, then really there's no paradox, since we haven't applied much observational pressure to those. Alien UFO proponents would probably have a very different view about what I just said, of course, but the scientific community certainly does not have access to any credible evidence to that effect, so we'll just leave that aside. So the scope of Fermi's question is...
And that goes to virtually everything. Because when your scholastics are being paid, right, and their career all is defined by people who are paying to say what is real. That's why you get what is real, and that's when, Rudy Giuliani is right. There is no truth. Ouch. Anyway, so, be nice if some people showed up for the show. I never give anyone a warning, but I've been here now 44 minutes. If you subscribe and hit that little bell. So, this meal, I have a meal like this once a week. And that's, special. I don't eat like this every day. Back in the corporate world, I ate like this 24/7 for 15 years. That's why I weighed 580 pounds. That's why I died in a plate of spaghetti. They're comparing each other's credit cards.
You look on page 17, it shows. And it's not what you want money back. I really have to get my stuff in.
They're petty jobs. I never had a job. I did things that I enjoyed doing, and they paid me for it. That's called having a life. You know? So anyway, they're having fun. That's a good thing. That's what you
So the scope of Fermi's question is poorly defined and open to interpretation, but of course he can be forgiven for this because after all, it was just a casual lunchtime remark. It was never intended to spark 73 years of academic debate. Crucially though, how one interprets Fermi's original question leads to a split in the road. We arrive at least two different versions of what are both called the Fermi paradox. For simplicity, I'm going to call them the direct and indirect versions. Let's start with the indirect version first, which to me is the less interesting one. I'm going to define the indirect Fermi paradox as the following. It's an apparent contradiction that we haven't detected any evidence for aliens using numerous experiments, under the assumption that aliens exist and they occasionally engage in such activities. That's the conditional part. Okay, so what are the experiments that we're referring to here? Most obviously, one might think of radio searches for artificial transmitters, which spans numerous experiments such as those by the SETI Institute and Breakthrough Listen. After decades of listening, no one seems to be calling. An eerie silence. Beyond radio, there has been some more limited efforts to search for optical transmissions, especially brief laser pulses sent our way. In addition, there's also been some efforts to search for weird eclipses of distant stars that could be the signature of alien megastructures, with Boyajin star famously stirring up a lot of interest in this some years back. And on that same note, there has been some surveys too for the infrared excesses expected from Dyson spheres, stellar energy harvesting machines hypothesized by Freeman Dyson. That's not an exhaustive list by any means, but as you can see, it encompasses both intended messaging, such as a laser targeted at us, as well as unintended signatures, such as a Dyson sphere. We haven't done nearly as much as we'd like, though. The truth is,
the real deal is, what about all the stuff we ignore? You know? When the state-sponsored narration is, don't worry about it, there's nothing to be seen here, you know? I mean, anybody, I live out in the middle of nowhere, and there is no light from any big box store or parking lot or highway. So I get to see lots of stars. But when it's clear enough, even when the moon's out there, I can see a lot of stuff. So like the other night, it was, I don't know if it was full moon, but close. And it was quite interesting that I could see the space station, even with the moon out. So I could have butt in on the girls' conversation, but I didn't. So these girls have jobs, and I would say by their shoes and their dress and their jewelry, they probably were making somewhere between 50 and 70 a year, right? And they probably have middle manager jobs because they couldn't have this kind of lunch. They weren't. And that they were looking at each other's credit cards, right? So it's like, and, you know, I can tell that these girls have been buds and like each other, and that's a good thing. And that's like a community. And the more you can have a community like that, that's a good thing, right? But what do you do with that community, right? How do you take that community and make your society, right? That's the story. I'm watching sports channel. They have mixed martial arts. Really? I had a girlfriend who used to fight back before it was mixed martial, before they called it that. She was an Aikido master, and she taught women how to protect themselves. So she taught them Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu and Karate. And then she taught them how to fight dirty. And, I remember one time we were walking home and she loved to get drunk. And we were on the West Village and someone had made a place to mug people, turned off the street lights. And so there was a section of the street that was dark. So I'm like looking for 2x4, something to protect my woman. And she just took those people apart. She probably killed a few. Because the police captain from that neighborhood, he said, what did your girlfriend do? Because she found bodies. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I've seen that girl fight. I think that's who did it. Because you wouldn't do it. You talk your way out of it. This girl was like, went at it. Do. 41. Ba. Oh, it's Toby there. So, how about some comments and some comments over there? And how about some money in the old PayPal, the dudeawake42 at Gmail? Yes. That's when you know the meal's good. And when you start farting, that's when you know it's not. Run. Someone yell at you, you yell. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's just how I left the conversation. All right, now we're good. Okay. Yeah. Kurt, how are you? I don't want to talk. And then sometimes it's like,
Good. And that's better. Well, that's how you have to do it. Hey there, Miss Crystal. This is your Al. How you doing? Oh, I can't complain. I'm having a very pleasant lunch in Johnson City. Is JR around? Okay. Okay, I'll find that. Could you tell him if I miss him, I'm making dinner up on the deck if he wants to drop by. Yeah, but and I will and tell him to drop by if he can, and I'll try and call him back to say 3:15. Okay. I'll try. Okay, bud. Bye. Anyway, what else can we say? I don't know. See how much juice we got left in the battery? 50%. That's enough.
Yeah, no, I would. Like that whole no matter which way he went,
So, ladies, how do you know each other? You are
she was like coach volleyball, and we're on the volleyball team.
you're very inspiring. You're having so much fun.
We're so I'm sorry. Yeah, we all graduate tomorrow, so we're just rekindling.
She went and took a bigger job up in Michigan, University of Michigan.
As your, oh, so she was your coach, and
Yes.
so let's see your palms.
See what?
Your palms. I hand you right.
Oh.
You first. Get a little closer.
Are you a
Right.
are you gonna read?
I read everything.
No way.
Yes, I'm a psychosocial cultural forensic anthropologist.
No.
Well, let's see. You are quite the ballerina. Let's see, honest girl, but you don't spill the beans. You're so laid back when you're kicking. People have to stick you with a pin to see if you're alive. A lot of vivid dreams.
Yeah.
A little passive aggressive, but that's what makes you a good sports person. Turn your hand this way. Let's see. You're a lot smarter than you let on. You're like my first wife used to call me stupid smart.
Oh.
A little closer. Let's see. So you're really good at getting the job done. You don't like procrastinate.
You're so right.
And you are very empathetic. That's your best. That's what makes you good teammates. You're next.
Me?
Yes, of course.
All of it.
Yes. Well, you know, human beings are like Mr. Potato Head. Remember Mr. Potato
I
Head?
do.
Eight. You know, only 8 things. You have 1,800 lines in your hand.
Okay.
Only 8 mean anything.
Okay.
At least to me.
Okay.
So you're a lot closer to the best. People have no idea who you are.
Okay.
You are mystery girl.
Okay.
And even though you have a loud side, so you have wicked dreams.
I do.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
What you need to do is, as soon as your feet hit the floor, it's gone, right? What you need to do is keep your little phone nearby.
Okay.
And the first thing you do, hit that record. I just had a stream about blah, blah,
Okay.
blah, blah, blah. Because it just will spiel right off, right?
Okay.
You go back and listen to it
Okay.
at your own leisure.
Yeah.
Pause it, stop it, go back, go forward, and you write it down. Because
Okay.
we write things down not to remember, but to understand. So when you write it
Oh
down,
my gosh.
you,
Okay.
you will go, wow, that's why I did that. Wow, that's what this means. Wow.
Yeah.
Right? Turn your hand around this way. So you're smart. What you got going on is you got great gut. Meaning you have, oh, my gut told me what to do.
Yeah.
See, we all have 3 brains. A gushy thing in your head,
Yeah.
which is just the RAM. Your heart is the CPU,
Yeah.
and your gut, that's your hard drive.
Yeah.
So that's where all of you successful. You need to always, like, as a sports person,
Yeah.
you always go with your gut.
Exactly.
You're not really thinking what should I be doing now. Otherwise, they'd be down the court, right?
Yeah.
So you too are a great teammate. You are very empathetic. You worry too much. Stop it. Stop
I
it.
do.
Stop it.
I do. I know.
It's not even
I
a
know.
good hobby, you
I
know?
know.
Stop it. So if you do the dream thing,
Okay.
you won't worry. You'll see it.
Write my dreams down.
But you got to record it first
I will.
because you got to listen to it to write it down.
Okay.
Right? And there's 2. This is for all you girls. This is for all you girls.
We're gonna sit and wait.
Yes, of course.
Sorry.
You have This is for every one of you. No, patience. That's what you need, patience. She does. So you're like a Labrador.
Okay.
Loyal, sweet, good, gets the ball all the time. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, right,
Yes.
exactly. So all of you too, Mom, is that the two mantras are conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am, Ohms. You say it 3 times, you do it all in one breath. So, right? And then you get conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am. Do this, really, or like this. So anyway, what will occur is everything you do, and all of you ladies do this, why you're a good sports person, because you do have conscious intent. You're not just like do out there. You are conscious intent. But if you really focus that comes natural in sports, the rest of your life, baby. Okay. The other one is conscious awareness. What's going on 360? And that's another thing. So instead of that moron getting in your grill, you see it, okay, I'm out of here. So by the time they get to where you were, you're already 3 blocks away. And again, as a sports person, you guys do this. You just do it organically. You're not really aware of it. She's taught you well. So you're next.
I'm next.
Yes, and this hand you write with, right? Okay. So, you are like, these two are kind of intense one way or the other. You're right in the middle. You're like Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold. So you have a lot of deja vu. I mean, ridiculous amounts. And that's God telling you, hey, you just missed that. Because your mountains of prosperity are fair, but you don't take advantage of it because you're not aware of where you're stepping. And that's, you're missing good things, but the other one is you could step in front of a bus too. So turn your hand around. Smart girl. Worry way too much. Again, you're good at getting to it. You don't really do it. And you're really not passive aggressive, but you are, meaning you tuck it away too much. And that's not good because it's what makes you sick and makes you nuts and all of that. But you're this nice. Everyone thinks, and when she's like cutting someone's brake line, I couldn't believe she did that. She's Goldilocks. She's right in the middle. Okay, you're next. She's got her hand there. It's like that. You're going to make a good policeman. Well, most hospitals are full of policemen.
Sure.
Telling you what you need to do and they don't have a clue. So you're kind of close to the best. You never let anyone know how you're doing.
What?
You gotta listen. And pay attention. And be aware. These are another. Otherwise, you're gonna barbecue someone in that radiology.
Yeah.
Instead of to like fried chicken, instead of just look at what bone is broken and not gonna be good. But what's fun about you, no one has, you are never, ever the same girl that you just were right there. I think that's me. Oh, I can ignore that guy. Oh, no. You know what? Hey, Mr. Magic, I'm here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beautiful women. You got anything to say?
All right, man.
I'll call you back in just a little bit, okay? Bye. He's drunk again.
Sure. I get it.
Turn your head this way. So probably your best attribute is you're everyone's best friend. You are loyal, like I said, Labrador. You are loyal.
Well.
And you're a lot smarter than you give yourself credit for. Otherwise, you wouldn't be graduating. Okay, you're next, Mom. Of course. Or should I say coach?
Coach. She's a mom.
She's our mom.
I know.
She just graduated.
Well, man, you are so wrapped up like no one knows who you are. You're like Joe Biden,
Oh,
except you know how to put on your pants. See, your mounds of prosperity, pretty good. You've made all your own luck. Like I said, you are so you never spill the beans about anything, anyone, any place. You know, what's your name? What gender are you? Again, you're a rocket scientist. You're more brilliant. And what's really interesting, this doesn't happen to most people. Your empathy and your intelligence are the same thing, so you can read people relatively quickly. And see, you cover up your fingernails so no one can tell what you're really doing. So that's what I tell you. What astrological sign are you?
fine. What my sign is? A Libra.
Oh, you're Libra. So you are the perfect Libra. Because if you weren't, you'd be insane.
She is insane.
Oh no, that's just her. I don't know what to call it. Her not that your insanity is your charisma.
I've been told. Well, it is funny because I was on this dating site on eHarmony, and it talked about my empathy and my intelligence, and it's like the same.
Didn't I just say that?
I just read that about myself.
And you didn't even need an algorithm.
I didn't.
You know,
Nice.
This guy.
you just Sensei Alba.
That's your name? Nice to meet you.
Well, that's my stage.
What's your real name?
Wait, what's your station?
Owl, like
Owl?
the bird.
Oh, Owl.
Yeah.
Oh, we got this.
So I get paid a lot of money. Corporations give me a lot of cash to do this.
Nice.
I'm a negotiator, right? So I read all these rich people and drive them insane. I go in looking like a homeless guy. Yo, Miss Labrador, do you want one of these?
I'm okay.
Okay.
We'll share.
So I have a nice YouTube you might get something out of. And you need any negotiating or physics done, I'm your man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
Yep.
Enjoy your
Yep. And congratulations, you ladies.
Thank you so much.
Go on and conquer the world. Okay, was that happy? Would you like that? Let's see who's token. Tattoos. I have one. Board is holding court. Yep. Can I call you and pretend I'm Lindsay Buckingham? Of course you can. Yes. Yeah, let's call the lad who called up. Oops, that phone. This one. Do. Where are you? Here we
Hello.
Hey, here I am. So what's shaking, handsome?
Hello, it's me, Lindsay Buckingham. How are you, Al?
Lindsay Buckingham.
I've been on the road. We had to cancel a lot of things due to that, the fake COVID, whatever it's called, But we're on the road.
That was a
and,
year
so-
ago. That was a year ago.
That was 2 years. We've been dealing with it about 2 years now. So I had to cancel about 16 shows, And the thing is, I bailed out on Fleetwood Mac. I said to Stevie, get over it.
Yeah, get over it.
I said, go your own way. I said that years ago.
Go your own
I
way.
said it years ago, and I'm saying it again.
You're
Go
saying it
your
again.
own way.
Well, when you got something good, stick with it.
Well, I mean, I'm fit. I'm ready to hit the road. And it's just me acoustic with my ladies and with the ladies that back them up and the ladies that back them up.
Right.
And then there's like one guy drummer or whatever.
So did
But,
you ever, in the
yeah.
early 60s, remember the Dolls?
Oh, of course, the New York Dolls.
Yeah, New York Dolls, right?
The Dolls, because they were the Detroit Dolls. They were the St. Augustine Dolls.
No.
They're the Richmond
New York.
Dolls.
But the guy who was the lead singer there, what was his name?
Bucky Baxter. No.
No, that was his
oh,
pseudonym
Jesus.
when he started doing like a lounge
Yes.
show.
No. He just put out a documentary on Showtime, and
Right.
it's he still looks like young. Buxter Poindexter.
Yeah, Bucks. Well, that's like Al Bob.
The
that
New
was-
York Dolls. Their guitarist was Johnny Mars. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it was. No. It was who was that? Richard Hell and the Voidoids.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm a big fan.
So
you
I
know,
lived
I
in the
came up
West
before
Village
those
when
guys.
those guys were in the West Village.
Yeah, I kind of me and Stevie moved to LA, and we kind of she was born in Arizona. I met her when
So were you up in the mountains?
we were up in the mountains originally, and then we kind of we were born to the same.
No, I'm talking about when you were in LA. Were you up in the hills, or were you?
Yeah. Oh, that's what we could relate to. So we were in Topanga Canyon
Right.
and Topanga Mountains
Yeah,
and the whole.
I just,
Malibu.
everyone said, "Oh, Al, you're so California." I'm a New York boy.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
And I couldn't stand it there. Everyone was so.
That just means cosmopolitan, I think. I think that just means.
Well, my
you know what I mean?
sense on those guys they just didn't know who they were. They were just so not really them. It's hard when you can read people and they're
Right.
acting this other way, It's like,
Right. You remind me of a Ram Dass or something like that,
yeah.
We took Ram Dass on tour with us in '79, and we took him on the Go Your Own Way tour. And
That would be
but
great
he
for
went
him.
his own way, which was weird because
that's what I'm laughing about.
no, this really happened.
I know.
So yeah,
Yes.
and Metallica was just coming up, and so we met them backstage and we kicked their ass.
Would you consider Metallica heavy metal?
Yeah. They're like the Beatles of heavy metal.
Which is more heavy, Kiss or them?
Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah, because they're both like
Well, I think Kiss because of the kabuki-ness.
yes, but that's
Although
just,
Bob Dylan said, I never saw Huzura bleed blood from his mouth.
yeah, it's like what's his name?
Because they were big in the '70s.
Oh, yeah.
So Bob Dylan's story in Rolling Thunder, he's like, "Well, I met Patti Smith in New York," and he's like, "Well, then I went down and I saw the leader of Kiss. He was there backstage,
What was his
That
name
was-
again?
and I was there with Gene Simmons, right?
Yeah, nice
So I was
Jewish
there with
guy.
his girlfriend.
Nice Jewish.
Yeah, I knew his manager, so I saw him backstage putting on the white.
You're doing a good.
Dylan,
Yeah.
1980s Dylan. Yeah, right.
1980s Dylan, Yep.
Well, 80s, like he's like 80 years old now, right? So Willie Nelson is 90, by the way. Happy birthday, Willie.
And they
On the
they
road
just,
again.
They just put him in the Hall of Rock and Roll. It's a
I don't pay attention to that because you know who they denied again this year?
Who?
Warren Zevon.
You got it kidding me. That guy
Again, even though even David Letterman just like kept on like saying like you got to vote this guy in. Like it doesn't matter if you do or don't, but my God, like if anyone deserves to be in there,
well, that's
Warren Zevon.
Somebody said, I don't want to, I'm a member of your club. Groucho Marx said that,
Oh yeah.
If I'm a member of your club, I don't want to be part of it.
Well, Jeff Beck gave the best Hall of Fame. I think he went up there with the Faces, was it?
Yes.
Who he was in.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up and he said, these guys, I don't give a shit about all this. He's like, I hate these guys. I hate all of you.
I hate all of you.
But Michael, the first Cleveland, it's so stupid. Like some people think, I'm like, hey, where are you from? They're like, Cleveland. Some girls, I meet. And they're like, Cleveland, the home of rock and roll. I'm like, well,
I don't know.
It's because the museum's there,
Right. It's not the home. It's where they go to die.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
They don't live there.
So I think that's why Dylan always felt uncomfortable playing there. It was like, this is like a death sentence.
Yeah, right,
Just to
exactly.
play there,
Yeah,
right? So Mike Love gets up there, right? With the Beach Boys get inaugurated the first year, the Dylan, the Beatles, all that. They all give night, and Mike Love gets up there. He's like, "Hey, I don't give a shit if and Yoko's in the audience with Julian and
Yeah.
very young Sean,
Right,
very young
right,
Sean,
yeah,
1986, you know. And he says, "I like to see the Mop Tops perform as much as we do."
Yeah.
He's like, you know, and he's a huge drum head, you know, this
Right.
Mike. And it was terrible, and everyone was booing him, you know. And he got off stage for the Beach Boys, and he's just been a dick since. But then Dylan gets on there. He gets introduced by Bruce Springsteen, of all people, right?
Yep.
And he gets on. He's like, "I'd like to thank Bruce, and you know, and I thank Little Richard too, who's out there. Little Richard, and Muhammad Ali, who's I guess was there too." Right?
He was micro.
Of course, it would, right? Like,
Right,
who else?
right.
Like, who
He was
gives a shit about
microdosing
rock and
that
roll?
day. He was microdosing.
And he's like, and I'd like to thank also Mike Love for not mentioning me. And everybody went wild. Right? And he's like, and I'd like to tell Mike Love that you know, I tour about 180 shows a year too, so you know, none of us have lit up or something like that. Like, you know, like he's so good, man. He's so good. And he's like, thank you, you know, and just like accept the award. You know, it's fucking amazing.
Yep.
Dude, have you ever seen Dylan or interacted with someone?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you've interacted with John Lennon, which
Right.
blows my mind, right?
Well,
But
I was at Emmy at
Dylan
Madison
is like
Square
more New
Garden,
York.
you know, and at Carnegie Hall. So I bumped into a lot of people. You know.
Oh, okay.
You know, I would always give everyone where the lights are going to be. You know, here's a little X. You got to step there, here, and they're not going to see you. So
Beautiful.
yeah. So yeah. So
How about Patti Smith? Anything like
yeah,
that?
yeah. Oh, I lived in Lower East Side.
I know
when
her
she was
daughter,
there.
Jessie, by the way.
Oh.
She's a big fan of the Rubin Museum,
Right,
which is
right.
like a
And
Buddhist sort of Tibetan house thing.
Her husband or boyfriend, the guy who's the artist who did the Piss Christ guy who died.
Oh, I hope. No, that's not her husband. I hope. That's Russell Lee Simmons' brother, right? Is it not?
Right.
What's his name?
Oh, I should.
That's not Basquiat. Is all.
No.
No. It's oh god, I forget the name of the Piss Christ.
So do you know my Basquiat story?
Yeah, I mean probably not as well as you, but please.
So you know
For
they
our
made a
listening
movie about him.
audience.
They made a movie about him, right?
Correct.
And the opening scene is Robert Duvall's up on a ladder installing a piece of track light, right? That was me. Basquiat was my electrical assistant. I met him up in the South Bronx, basically turning tricks in his prep school uniform.
Wow.
He came from Santo Domingo, and his parents, his white, Upper West Side parents were there at a gated community, and this lady had a little baby, and they bought him and took him home like you would buy a canary or a dog, and they had it as their pet until he became a teenager. And when he became, could do nothing but draw, and he was obviously kind of, gender fluid, they took him to the South Bronx in his, prep school uniform and said, here's $10. Go in there and get me a pack of cigarettes. And he went in and they drove away.
Now, some of his paintings are worth like what?
Millions. So he lived with me for about a year.
Why though? What is so important about his work? Like, I don't understand.
Oh, what it was, I'll tell you exactly what it was. So I do these YouTube shows, right? Before I do them, I kind of energize them with a shamanic juice, right?
Charge them.
Or I charge them, right? And my writing is the same way, right? And you read that stuff and you're going,
we all know this, right? But probably, yeah.
So that was his painting, his art. And because he would go out when he was drawing, when he was painting, he wasn't there. God was.
Yeah.
So that's basically it.
Well, there's a Brooklyn artist who did a movie back about the science of sleep. It's called. Really, his name is Baptiste Bar.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend and I went and grabbed, like, for a fundraiser, he donated like 3 or 4 paintings, right? originals, and I just took one of them and
Mhm.
ripped it right and put it in my pocket. You know?
Hey there, Lindsay, you're breaking up, so maybe move one way a little bit or another.
Oh, sorry about that. Hello.
Okay, sounds good. I was getting every third word or third letter, so okay, keep talking.
Well, no, that's good. It's just the Baptiste Bar is another artist I would like for you to look up, and know that I have one of his original artworks folded up in some book that I have.
Yes. Well, I have a lot of pieces of art like that, and if too many years go by and people don't know who they are, it's hard to oh, what do we call it? It's, make it stamped. Oh, this is really what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I,
So
I had an art gallery in New York, and a lot of people, and a restaurant. I have a lot of paintings that people didn't have any
Yeah.
money, and
Yeah.
Klaus Oldenburg gave me a painting because he didn't have any cash. You'd think he would, but just that moment he was here. Here. Why don't you put this up on the wall? That pretty much what we did is we just kept putting people's art up on the wall, and that was
Well, Leonard Nimoy had a little spot in the town I lived in, and he owned a little shop, which had original John Lennon
uh-huh.
and everything, right? Which is pretty cool. If I could buy one, I would.
So Leonard Nimoy, where was his shop?
This is Northampton.
Oh, really? In Massachusetts?
That's correct.
Yes. Oh.
If anybody out there on the worldwide
web,
invisible intelligence knows Northampton, connect with them.
I do.
Yeah, I know you do. But anyone else?
Anyone else?
But yeah, he had this great art, like little gallery, and it was classically it was 4 floors,
Mm-hmm.
Or 5 maybe with a rooftop.
Kind of like Danceteria.
Yeah, but that what?
Danceteria was an old. It was a nightclub, but it
Right.
had been way in the back, a department store, right? Like in the 1890s. So it was 6 stories high. Each floor was maybe 3,000 or 4,000 square feet, and so each frigging floor was this floor was funk, another one was jazz, another one was this, and and then the main floor was the disco spinning records.
Yeah, we all know this story. Yeah,
Yes.
I think you're right. But so I got another question for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody from The Secret, the Byron Priest, New York City treasure hunt, is really perplexed by this. They don't know if it's either Buffalo, New York, or if it's actually New York City, maybe Brooklyn, maybe in Ellis Island, immigration connection, stuff like that. So we wanted to ask you, what do you think?
Again, you're breaking up, so all I got was The Secret, New York, Buffalo.
I'm sorry.
So what's the question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right. Question is, there is a puzzle of The Secret, and there's a contingent of people that listen to you
Uh-huh.
based on the fact that you know New York.
Right.
And not just New York, but that whole vicinity,
Right.
New Jersey, Long Island,
Right.
even New England, even a bit.
Right.
Like
I went
that
to
whole
prep
area.
school in New England. I
Right.
lived in Worcester, all that kind of stuff. So basically,
Yeah.
I grew up in Manhattan. My parents, my grandparents, and my parents had a house in Long Island also, and I went to prep school in New England. So
Yes, but but more than that, in my opinion. So this is why I brought you into this group. For me, was that you have the knowledge of inside and out of New York,
yes,
almost comparable to Byron Priest, because he was just publisher in New York City.
Mhm.
And if you look him up, I think you would know exactly probably where he was,
Mm-hmm.
where his office was in Brooklyn, and like who the artists he dealt with, and you could figure out this puzzle 100%. You and I.
Well, we'll have to do it together because I don't know the puzzle per se, and so yes, but yeah, you know, because I
So there's a thing. The first line. There's a painting,
uh-huh.
and there's a verse to go with, and it's all built on the fairies who came to. And there's 12 of them that were to be discovered in America. 3 have been discovered. I helped find the Boston one about 3 years ago in Boston. That was the first one since 2008 to be discovered.
Sounds like the Da Vinci Code.
It kind of is. You like it though, but it takes a mind like yours to figure it out.
Right.
And
Well,
Sounds
you know what you need to do is send me the stuff on the on my email. My
I did already, but yeah, it's
doodle?
somewhere. There's an attachment,
right.
and there's a. It looks like the Statue of Liberty hovering over the Rockaway Beach. You know what Rockaway Beach is?
Yes.
Okay.
So first off, I'm at my email. When did you send it? What day?
A while ago. I think I don't know
A
exactly.
couple weeks ago.
Maybe. Yeah.
A couple weeks ago.
Yep. Like I think one of the first. Yeah. And I attached it. I was like, "Thanks, Bob. Yeah, here's the," because we talked about it then. But like
Salinger.
Back.
Salinger. I took your advice to seek out and talk to someone, student, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's not it. Let's see. February 27th, January 22nd. What phone is this? No, it should be this one. My electronics. Someone has grabbed, you know, is having fun with me because
Okay, don't worry about
none
it.
of my stuff works. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
stuff should be.
All right. Can I send it to you right now? And just like
Yeah. Oh, do that. Send it to me right now, and then I
like
should
there are
be able.
thousands of people who watch the Discovery Channel who are like deeply involved in this, and I think you're a hidden gem that no one has figured out yet.
Well, that was my business. You know, when I was the itinerant scholar,
All
that's
right.
what I did. So, yep.
What
Send
is
it to
it?
me.
The dude at Wake said.
A dude awake 42 at Gmail.
Yeah.
All one thing. The dude awake, not
All right, I'm
awake,
gonna send you a
awake
picture.
42 at Gmail.
I'm gonna send you a couple images. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
One is a painting. One is a verse.
Okay.
Leads somewhere in New York City. Where do you think it would lead?
Okay. So
All right.
did you send it?
It was published, mind you. This is 1982. This book was published. So.
So did you send it?
Not yet. Hold on. Jeez.
So I have a troll named Gertrude, and
Oh,
totally
Gertrude Russell.
yes, but not really.
No.
Pretending, but
Well,
very anal retentive. Very anal
Or
retentive.
block them.
Well, no, it's kind of amusing.
I'm
And
sorry.
I send them Bible verses.
You're the best. You're the best. I love you. You're the best. All right. Here we go. All right. I'm gonna send you my email now. Now, what you're gonna see
Right?
is a painting, and it might look originally
Mm-hmm.
like the Statue of Liberty, and that's I think the trick. It looks like the George. You know, like in Wall Street, there's the George Washington statue. And stuff. All right. Oh, there you go. I'm gonna put Byron Freeze here. Anyway, oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so then I'll give you the verse in a second. But just give me your first impressions. I just want to know. And we're gonna look at this together, and maybe we can provide links for everybody in the chat if you want to look up Byron Priest, the New York City secret treasure. know if you get it.
So
Al.
did you send it?
Yep.
Okay.
It says here, Al.
What is today? Is today the 4th or the 5th?
Today is the 5th.
Okay. The
Think of
only,
the dial, my friend.
let's see, all inbox now. No, it doesn't seem to be there. Gertrude's there, you know.
Okay, it says Byron Priest. Look in the spam folder, maybe.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Oh, thanks. That's great to know. I go right into the spam folder.
No. It just showed up now. Okay.
Nice.
Let's see. It didn't go straight to the spam folder. No.
Okay, great.
So, there's the little thingamajig. There it is. Come on. I'm hitting it and it won't come up.
If anyone could solve this, you could. Like a couple other people I know,
Right.
but they're like, they look at this like, how much money is it?
Right.
Good. I'm like, that's not. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
It's not. There you are. But it won't. And there's the little box saying, "Here, Al."
Yep.
And then I hit it, and it won't come up.
You need an image.
I need
Can you see the image of the lady hovering over the ocean?
No, it's just "Here, Al," and there's a
With
little
the 5
box.
boroughs?
Right.
No? All right, go look down and see if there's an attachment
Okay,
and download that image.
No attachment.
No, come on. Oh my God.
Hey, Al. Jim, are you any good with computers or cell phone? Yeah,
Just
yeah,
download
you're
the
Jim.
image there.
No,
Yeah,
not
give me-
numbers. Someone
Oh,
just
it's-
sent me something on my email, right? And here it is, and I can't bring it up.
Let's see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, see,
An image. Buddy.
that's him. That's the image down there, but I hit it.
Can you just hit that thing and let it download so we can bring it up and save it?
Did he send it? It might not
I
be.
sent-
It looks like you have to send it as an attachment.
I did, though.
But it's nowhere
I'll
to
send-
be attached, right?
I'll send it again just in case I didn't. Okay? Hold on. Sorry.
So do you have
Here, let's try this out.
Uh,
No.
okay. Let's see.
I think he said he's gonna try to send it.
okay?
Is that an Android?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yes. Yep, I'm ready.
All right, sent it again. Sent.
Okay. Ba, 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 ba. So do you have allergies, James?
I have an iPhone.
No,
See how the
Allergies?
yeah.
Oh no, yeah. Do you want me to get someone with an Android to help you out, possibly?
Yeah. Why, you a Mr. Apple?
I'm an Apple guy.
That's your form of bling.
Huh?
That's your form of bling.
No. I can't figure that out. Same with an iPhone is a lot. It's easy. I can understand.
All right.
We'll give our kids a guy instead.
Do. Did you send it?
Yes.
Oh,
Did you get it?
let's see. I got the. Oh, okay. Let's try this. Okay. Show quote text. Friday. Okay, let's try that. That's your email. Hide quote text. Show quote text. There it is. Well, the little box is showing up again, but it does not come up.
And then you via text.
Can you, let's try that. No, that's not it. Yeah. Can you text it to my phone? You still there?
Yeah. Hold on.
That's what I figured I'd try to whatever you would do that.
Yeah. Send it. Try text. Because like I said, my all of my stuff is like. What did Normie say?
Normie? No, he was a normie. He was extraordinary.
Normie Chomsky.
Normie.
Normie.
Abram, which is short for Abraham. He say, I only think he'd go up to lecture and they'd be like, oh, we can't get the sound right, and okay, blah blah blah. Every time he say, the only thing I learned about working at MIT for 60 years is technology. It never works.
Right, pretty much. And I'm a technologist, I'm an electrical engineer, and I know it doesn't work.
The only people like that get it. I told my writer friend that, and he was like, "What do you mean? Yeah, it always works. That's a stupid quote." I'm like, "You're an idiot." All right, here we go.
Okay, you're texting.
Please tell me you got this.
Okay, let's see. We're looking. Okay, I think I did.
All right. What does it look like?
Wait, it's doing its thing.
Wow.
It says that you sent it to me. The little blue dot is just circling.
Wow.
Like frame buffering or whatever we're doing. And I'm in a place that I got like all 9 bars. I'm like downtown. Yeah, I got the best signal. When you call me and I'm in the deep green, it's like bouncing off Venus, coming up from Mars, and just by the miracle of God do I receive it. Yes. Well, it's not doing it. But listen, no, it's just frame buffering. The little circle is going around and round. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hang up, and I'm going to call you back in 5 minutes. That way the phone is not doing anything but getting your image. So it did get here. You're there. It says Lindsay Buckingham. So, So I'll call you back in 3 minutes.
All right, Al.
Okay.
Much love, buddy.
Yeah, but. Bomb. There you are, Jim, and that's you in yellow right there.
Only on Saturday.
Oh, that's. Where's your men's room? Right there.
It's right around the corner of the same door.
Okay. I'll be right back. Let's see, how much juice do I have left? No, I better leave now. Okay, it's been 1 hour and 44 minutes. It's been fun. I'll talk to you later.